Happy Saturday. I shouldn't be smashing this candy the way I am, but it's good. But it's good. Ooh, hang on. Really just popping up just because I'm sitting here doing nothing. Figured I see who was in the YouTube streets. I didn't even get to come on and do workflow today. I just didn't feel like hooking up the phone and turning it on and all that good stuff. So I did some pretty good hair today too. I should have brought it on. Hi, Rachel. How are you today? This fine Saturday. I gotta stop eating candy. I got to quit. I ain't buying no more. This is it. This is the last bag. These dang gone nerd what they called? Gummy things. Gummy clusters. Yeah, man. These things got me in a chokehold. Today has been pretty good. I ain't did nothing. I keep on saying every day I ain't did nothing I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to go to work, so went to work. I'm supposed to be out here doing Uber Eats so I can make some money. We'll see how that goes. Hey, double. Likewise, my friend. Trying to see. I do need to get out there in like at least an hour and a half, 2 hours, turn a couple corners. And then try to start off big time tomorrow. But what I really need to be doing is finishing this, eliminating and packing. But here I am sitting on the couch eating nerd gummy clusters. I'm telling you, if you ain't never had them, get some. It is good. When I be delivering sometime like late at night, people be ordering stuff from like Walgreens and it's mainly Walgreens, and it's like Hershey, any kind of Hershey bars, anything gummy, Sour Patch Kids, all that type of junk. This is all they order. So I'm like, this can't be kids because it's midnight. These people high as I don't know what. But what happens is I start buying the stuff that they shop for because I be either curious or now I want it because I seen it. One night I was on a beef jerky kick. Beef jerky, they taste like steak. I was like, oh my God. It was crazy. That's the only dangerous thing about delivering food because sometimes you find restaurants you didn't even know existed. So now you got to try it. Yeah. But yeah, my day's been good. I literally just been having this dumb question in my head because I always say it all the time because I'm like, how, Sway? Why, Sway? So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to come on here and just talk. And whatever comes to mind, that's what we're going to talk about for this whatever time I'm going to be on here. The first thing I'm noticing, listen, the church folks is cutting up beef jerky, medium. I don't like nothing spicy. Church folks been cutting up. When I say church folks, I mean like the preachers and stuff. Why is like a whole bunch of different preachers that's kind of like YouTube, man, they got beef. I'm starting to see them pop up in videos just like we be doing over here. They got beef. They be on there talking about minister double speaks. I've never said anything about you out of order. And I'm pretty hurt that you would say these things about me. Anything I've ever done has been Holy Spirit led. And if you want to keep on saying these things about me, because I've been nothing but integral to you, I have the screenshots. Man, when they said I got the screenshot, it was over. I said, we is doomed out here. Because some of these people, like people that I actually, I listen to a variety of people. But some of these people I done been to conferences and stuff, I'm really in shock that they are beefing back and forth, calling each other false. And I said, here it goes. Yes. I don't hear some of them calling people false, some of them, man, that's a whole nother sector. I hope I don't never skirt into that one. Cause my pastor might be over there and I might be over there like, oh, y'all need to cut this crap out. There's just one preacher I always be under his text like, you need attention. Stop acting like this. Sometimes people just got to say it. But yeah, man, they over here talking about they got the screenshots. Hi, Mom, only young cunt. Thank you. They got the screenshots. They got just like over here, man. Like, how you a whole preacher basically coming out, calling others out, telling them they need to um, disassociate with the other one or they can't be a part of that. And I'm like, wow, this is like, it's amazing to me. That's why I'm like, why? How? Like 2 years ago, these people wasn't on this. I'm like, how y'all get caught up in this? I seen one last night. I got his books. He like, I'm tired of being quiet. I gotta say something. I'm like, no, you don't, bruh. But it's sad, but it really tickles me because so many people get caught up in thinking that these people are different than us. I think that they should hold themselves to a different standard because of the alleged titles that they carry. We should expect more from them. However, comma, they some niggas too. Straight up niggas. Like, I can't. It's like, see, that's why you got crazy people like me coming on here talking and being all positive and trying to keep y'all in good spirits because we about to be doomed out here. If they beefing on the internet and everybody else beefing on the internet, what we gonna do? What we gonna do, double speak? We're sicko, man. He was on there to like, cause you're double speaks because you're a prophet. I'm like, oh Lord, he just called the man out. I'm too hyped. This is what happened when you eat too much candy and you halfway sleepy. I literally have, man, if y'all think I'll be random on the rest of these days, this is not that. I just came on here to say hey and talk. But I was really, really, really tripping off of that. And then, yeah, I heard it. I pay attention to stuff. Like, I really, really pay attention. You know what I mean? I think I got that growing up. I was always observant as a kid. And like you were saying earlier, that you got to go by the spirit. I play around, joke, and all that stuff, but I believe in that. If I don't feel your spirit, then 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna draw back or draw away. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's like I feel things, but I think it's funny because I do the same thing to Selena that he did to you, and she don't even understand. She be in her bag. So then, look, y'all. After the preachers, probably before the preacher, but that's the first thing I had to talk about. Then, since everybody was talking about why I keep wanting to call that girl Dirty Red, the sexy red girl. Why I had to just be nosy. I can't even talk about the rest of that stuff y'all was talking about, but I am really, really concerned as to why the hell she had on that bonnet. Not only are you making ugly faces, yo, you got a whole big old bonnet on your head. Why, Sway? I can't take it. I need to stop searching the internet and looking stuff up. But I think, but in a nutshell, that's a sad situation because I think that I always think that there's an agenda. We all have our views on that. I do think it's an agenda against our youth. You got one side of the coin, they're coming at our sons. The other side, if they can't get them with that side, they come with the young ladies. And these are the same people that they pop into schools. And then the kids come together and they singing the songs word for word. It's no different than if you fellowshipping at church. When you start lifting your hands and singing together and rejoicing over these people, you're now coming into a covenant with some bullshniggity. Where is Gary? That's my interpreter, because I almost said it. You come in agreement. People don't understand, like, when you listen to certain music and stuff and you start to be in tune when they say, wave your hands in the air, how they used to say back in the day, wave them like you just don't care. When you're at church, what's the first thing you do? You lift your hands in praise. It's no different. It's just a different setting, different group of people that you're now giving reverence to. It's not the presence of God. It's the presence of whoever that person is. So they put these people before our children and have them idolizing somebody that isn't anyone to look up to, someone that probably don't even have as much intelligence as they have as even a fifth grader probably. But then here we go 2 weeks later, they butt all over the internet. But y'all want these people in y'all schools. That's what causes me to say stuff like, why Swayyy? Why? But I also read somewhere they said that she admitted that she said that she support 45, and right after that tape came out. So who knows what happened? But don't y'all be out here making no videos, erase it. Ladies, don't let him keep the footage. You got to keep it because we know you're going to do right with it. For real. That's this. I don't know. As I look around, y'all know, I was looking at the girl, Krishan Rock. I be watching her, but I don't watch her because, like, I'm a fan of her music. I think I watch her because I genuinely root for the young lady. I'll be looking at it from a standpoint of seeing where her mind is today. Having been 23, 24 before and dealing with having children and baby daddy, things like that, I think that society give her a hard time, like, oh, she shouldn't have did this, she shouldn't have did that. But you got to think, she's only been here a few years. She hasn't experienced enough life to even know better yet. So it's like, why does the world tear young people down when they don't have the knowledge that they need in the moment? So I always just watch her to see, how she's doing today. And I noticed that when things happen bad and people come down on her, she genuinely comes back and be doing better. They said she had the baby held a different way. She got a new carrier. They said she always doing X, Y, and Z. She has people around her. You see the people around her. They said something about her taking the baby to the studio. She bought the studio to the house. And I happened to catch that live, and they were on there saying, is she drinking Hennessy? Oh my God, where's Junior? And I'm like, so the baby can't sleep? Just because you don't see somebody don't mean somebody's not caring for the child. Like, come on. Oh, you're breastfeeding. Don't nobody. It's like weird to me how people really think that they know people. Just like on here, people really think that they know people because they get a little glimpse into that person's life. It's all based on opinions. We live in a very opinionated world, and people make huge assumptions off of their opinion, and half the time they're totally wrong. What I see with that young lady is someone who's learned how to market what we see as dysfunction. And that's not to say she's not in somewhat of dysfunctional life, but I think she's a lot smarter than the world gives her credit for. And another thing I love about her, it's almost like she's a battle. You know, earlier, Double Speaks, if you're still in here, you was talking about how we're in a spiritual war. I literally see that with her. I see her good and bad fighting to I see her fighting that fight, you know, and some people give up and just give into the dark. So I guess that's the standpoint that I actually root for her, you know, because I see that someone instilled something in her for her at least to know enough to call on God or to go, you know, and worship, fellowship. So I think that's pretty cool about her. So I'm looking forward. She dropped a little song today too. She dissed her baby daddy. It was pretty. I liked it. I don't know. She said she named her baby Junior because she earned it. If I was a rapper, it would be so good. I can just see it now. Bars are heavenly. No, I'm just kidding. Let me quit playing. Yeah, but I don't know. Like I said, I didn't plan to come on here today. I didn't have no good reason for hitting live except for I'm sitting next to the computer and I was just looking at so much stuff. Super amazed to see the preachers fighting and threatening with screenshots. That about took me out. I done seen about 5 people talking about screenshots. And I'm like, why we need to know this? That's the weirdest thing. Like, even the preachers doxing. What in the world is going on out here? I don't know. But it's definitely an amazing thing to watch. How, you know, we all got something going on, is the gist of it. We all got something going on. And I don't think that any of us are in a position to um, judge, belittle, take away from anybody. Yeah, they talking about they got the screenshots, I guess, to prove their conversations that they had, and I don't know. I just think it's kind of strange that if any leader is saying they got screenshots, then you operating in the, you know how they say, well, no, you know how it says God is not the author of confusion. If everybody claiming they got screenshots and they responding and saying things, then I'm going to have to X out every last one of y'all. Because a man or a woman of God with integrity is not ever going to stoop to that level. So once I see you start bleeding out and doing the worldly things, then I gotta side out all of y'all. Whether you right or wrong, the fact that you engage now discredits a lot that you're supposed to be doing. Like you're operating in flesh. I ain't gonna say it discredits it because that's not. I don't think that any of that means that they're not who they are called to be. But I think it speaks to the character. It speaks to when we allow our flesh to overtake what we know better. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all know better. You church leaders. Hey, Gary, you're church leaders. You know you're not supposed to be out here going back and forth with other church leaders. It's almost like a fight against the charismatic and the deliverance ministers and all this different stuff. And I tend to believe that the body, you know, we got God. That's the whole entire gist of it. And his body consists of all of us. And all of us are needed. You know, you can't talk with your feet. You can't walk with your hands. You can't see with your nose. So everybody plays a part in the body moving and functioning properly. So if we got all these people going back and forth and screenshotting and all this stuff, something's wrong with the body. You see what I'm saying? Like something is off with the body. Either that or the body is rejecting those things that don't work properly, because our body has different functions. We can fight off infections and all that stuff. So maybe it's just something like that. Maybe the body is fighting off those infections. And like how we say we're gonna expose this and expose that, I say it a million times. No one exposes anything but God. Even if I expose it, God allowed it. So I'm just gonna sit back and say, well, for the last 7, 8 years, people be like, "This is a year of exposure." Maybe we here. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we here. But I don't think that it helps to the cause. No, we're not perfect, but we all should be leaning towards the better side of things. You know what I'm saying? Or doing better as the best we can. I feel like with all the darkness in the world, if we're doing our best, if everybody's trying to do their best, then we have a chance of, winning over some of the nonsense and snatching some of the people back that might have went to the other side. But instead, we fight and fight. Ain't no winner, you know what I mean? Because the fights don't end for real, for real. Like, I'm tired. I ain't about to be fighting. I just want to keep going. That's like put on my blockers and keep going. Because in this race, I plan to win. Man, I can't force nobody else to win their race, because we all got a place in life that we going. It's like if you spend too much time over there, you might miss something. You might catch something you shouldn't have caught. You might lose something. So, nah. And I think that me and Gary always talk about stuff like that. Like, how do you, in a sense, it's like, how do you be a light without losing patience? That's been a standing little thing we had. It's a thought. I think if I can say correctly, I believe Gary think that some people don't have the patience, and they probably don't. But I also think that there's a side of it that I don't have to have patience for anyone else except for myself. Yeah, I don't have to have patience for anybody else. As long as I can keep the patience for myself to keep going, then what I attract, I attract. And what I don't, I don't. It's a perfect time to dust. What they say? Dust your, dust off your feet or whatever it go. However it go. Y'all know I'm full of the word. I don't know the scripture like that, but I know it's in there. What they say? A prophet is not honored in their own home. Something something. People always use, and that's another thing, man. Why, Sway? It be the worst people, and you can tell they know better, because they'll be like, they'll use a scripture, and you be like, it's totally right, but you still wrong. That's all right, because a prophet is not honored in their own home. You ain't a prophet, bro. You're the most dishonorable person in the way. Stop it. I think that I am developing a lot of patience, going through different things, and um, just life in general. You got to adapt learning patience, because I think there's a reward that comes with being patient. My daddy, he was very patient. I hope to one day have, I think I got a lot of his patience, but I hope to have as much patience as he has. I probably got about half his patience. Like, I never seen my dad really get like out of character. I ain't never hear him using, bad words unless he was playing cards or, something like that. I've only seen him get like mad at my mom a couple times, and that was after her poking him for hours. And he still was very meek and mild. That's why I felt like he was a dangerous dude. You know what I mean? Like, ain't nobody got that much patience. Nobody. I can't I don't know nobody else with that type of patience, because I put myself in my daddy's shoes. There's a couple times I think I smacked my mama in my mind. Ooh, Lord, forgive me, but I'm thinking like, oh Lord, this gonna be the day. I don't condone nobody hitting nobody, but I think that people can push people to those points. That's why I know my daddy was a good man, because there's plenty of times he could have done yoked some people up, and he didn't. Even that's why when I say I want a marriage better than my parents, I say that in the sense of not that theirs wasn't good, but because of the things that I've learned growing up as a woman, growing into a woman and coming into my own relationships and things like that, and coming into learning and knowing God, I saw all the things that could have been so much better for them had they had that, they both believe, but if they really truly had that relationship and knew how to, put it together for their union and make it, man, they was dope. But I think about the real power couple they could have been. My mama did hair. My daddy was a barber. My mama missed her test and never went back to take it, so she didn't never get her license. The things they could have did, the little ways that I seen my mama was a hustler. She maintained the household. She did everything a woman's supposed to do, but she was nitpicky and naggy sometimes. But that's just her character, because she did it to us. It wasn't just like she did to my daddy. She would nitpick me. And I was always the one to be like, I got to get sassy back. I done got slapped a couple times. But it made me who I am. I'm not scared of anyone or anything. I'm not scared of anyone or anything. And I thank God that my parents instilled that type of strength in me. Like, no matter how hard it gets, how bad it gets, I still remember that I'm a fighter. My mama made me that way. Yeah, that's gonna be dope, man. Everybody wanted career. I think people say what they want as far as relationships or marriage, but then they don't want to do the basics, like the basic foundation of it. And I have to say, as a woman, a lot of it, and I can only speak as a woman, so I have to say, from my perspective as a woman, I see a lot of women get caught in that um the independent woman stuff, and I don't need a man for anything except for, and I do this, I make this, and he ain't this if he ain't doing that. That's less attractive to me, but it also takes us, I think we talked about this before, it takes us out of our God-given, beautiful, natural, feminine nature. If we were created to be the weaker vessel, but at the same time be that helpmeet, how do you then destroy that by being the person that God says it's better for the man to be on the corner of the roof than the house with you? Can you imagine that? God said, "Don't hit her. Just go sit up on the roof, cause she gonna be argumentative. She gonna talk her stuff. She gonna always have something to say. Just go sit on the roof, bruh." And that's literally what it says. I mean, I just think that it's a beautiful thing to be a woman, to be delicate, to be soft, to need some help. Even if you don't need help, you still want to need somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's like you want somebody to need you. But if you always are the aggressor of things, a lot of times I think we can be impatient as women. If what I've learned in my healing process was that, first of all, I usually try to take gender out of things when I think about, women and men relationships, what we want, because I think that we all ultimately want the same thing. Those that truly want something real. But I think that when we as women put ourselves in that position to say, I don't need this, or what you gonna do for me? What happens is now you're out of your natural order. Why, like, why get out of order and then get mad when things don't fall into place like you're expecting it to? Why get out of order and think that this man is gonna respect you like his good thing? I feel like we are, as women, we are, man, we are awesome creatures. Beautiful, just the way we are, made to be, feminine, the weaker vessel. We strong when we need to be. We know how to handle everything. I always tell people, read Proverbs 31 in the Message Bible. While we run around here calling ourselves boss B, if you read it in the Message Bible, you're going to find her. No, you're not supposed to be a B, a boss B. You're supposed to be the virtuous woman. Like you say, she's far more precious than rubies. She knows how to work with her hands. She take care of the kids. She can cook. She can clean. She handles her businesses. It says that in the Message. She handles her businesses. And then you hit them in the head with, that ain't even for you anyway, lady. That was that man's mama telling him what a king should look for in a woman. He ain't had nothing to do with you. That scripture ain't for us. Those are the mind-blowing things that I have come to realize. A lot of things we think is talking to us. You got to know. Like, I don't know a lot, but I know that some things are literal, some things are symbolic, and some things are talking to us, and some things are not. It's a great format to follow, to be, yes, but it wasn't written for us. It was a conversation of a mother and a king. But the way we are set up out here now in this world, it's designed for us to be out of order. Yeah, women that teach their daughters they don't need me. You got women that down talk fathers, even if they are, I dealt with absenteeism from my children's father because I told y'all he was a hustler. He was a good dude overall. Because I don't be messing with nobody that ain't good. I don't try to. I done probably made some mistakes, but I don't feel like I made a mistake with him. He was just a hustler, though. That was my first love. But he went to jail a lot. Sometimes, unfortunate, caught up in some mess. But he, I never instilled anything less than that's your father to my children. I never allowed them to think anything different of their father. I didn't want them to have any messed up views. I would get mad as hell when he go to jail because I had to do this by myself. But I never let them see that. I remember my son. He was probably 13ish, maybe, and he was going to this school where they had like it was sort of like an alternative school because he was always in an awkward position because he was a little older than his classmates, but then it was just weird. He was a weird case. I think the kids got on his nerves, but he was actually in the right grade. But and he's a special. He's gifted. I know he is. So I think that with certain gifts, there comes a lower tolerance level, and I don't think he knew how to handle that as a child. So he would always get in trouble for nonsense. But I remember him going to one of the groups, and it was like a coping class, and they were talking about how they say you would be like your parents and things like that. And he was just so upset that he thought that meant he was going to go to jail and everything that he knew to be true about his dad. And it was like, wow, I was young, I really didn't know how to explain it to him, but I told him, like, no, that's not true. I'm like, you have to think about the cards your dad was dealt. He's not doing these things on purpose. Sometimes people only know what they've been taught. I said, so where he may not have other examples, you do. I had to show him his other side. You still have Grand Joe, which they call my daddy. You have other people. You have these people inside of you too. That's not a true statement. What you're to do is not do anything that he did that's going to put you in that position. But I imagine a lot of kids struggle with stuff like that, and instead of us trying to instill hope and encouragement in our children, a lot of women would turn to be like, "You're gonna be just like your good for nothing daddy." I think that's the worst thing we could say to a son, you know, and then expect our daughters to be a certain way when a lot of times it's just bad choices we made. You talking bad about the guy, but you made a bad choice. Teach her not to make bad choices, in a sense. Mm-mm. Nurturing family and friends. Exactly, Gary. Like we can never be weak. You know what we do? We push out babies. That ain't easy. And some of us can't push them out, so we got to get cut. I think that's why a lot of the world is just out of whack because we all out of whack. I don't think a lot of cultures don't have the same messed up stuff that we have in America. Where got all these divorces and things like that. Even in cultures where they're allowed to have multiple wives, they have more unity than we have in our whole little society. Whatever, it's almost like it's promoted to not, especially in our community, it's promoted not to be in a household because they dangle what we think are rewards in our face. Little incentives called more food stamps, a little bit of a check. Yeah, I'm a clear your student loan debt. We don't strive for anything that isn't an opportunity to gain something for free. We don't want to work for anything. I rather, man, I tried like hell not to go to the welfare office when I was younger because I couldn't stand them people asking me questions. I remember they made me go to the child support because I never got child support for my children. I wish I did though, because when my kid's father died, they literally didn't get anything because we couldn't establish that he ever took care of them. So he had 5 children that were on child support. They got a trust, but basically the older kids didn't get nothing because there was no record of him taking care of them, which is crap, but that's how it went. But I just think the structure is all messed up. Mothers and grandmothers are making their daughters hard and abrasive. They don't respect men because their mother was mad because their daddy didn't want them. It's just so much stuff. But yeah, man, I don't know. I can only do what I can do in this here world. If I can make my house better, then that's the start. Then maybe that can be something for somebody else to pull on and make their house a little better. And then along the way, we catch up to people that we're allowed to share, something with. Just like earlier today, double speak, your chat, you had to laugh about one thing, but look where it went. And that's why it's so funny because it's like you're not gonna be able to escape that. No matter what you intend to do, you're gonna have those spiritual corners. I just start laughing. But that's a good thing because that sets you apart. It sets you apart. It's like you can't tuck it away. You know what I mean? Like no matter how hard I try to come on here and not get spiritual, just be positive or inspirational. You can't. There's nothing you can do with it. It's there. No matter what. I don't care if you roasting in the middle of roasting. You ever notice how to just shift on you real quick? Yeah. That's why I said I don't know what the heck I'll be talking about when I come on here. I just press play and talk. That's my instruction for now, and whenever it changes, it'll change. I told my client today, I said, going live has really helped me when I didn't know what I was going to do when I went live. Going live helped me because when I first started, I was talking out of my head, the things that were overwhelming me, the things that were bogging my thought process down, things that had my judgment maybe clouded. Like just those things. I'm an overthinker naturally. So I was talking from that space of unraveling my mind so I can gain some clarity. And I know that day when I came on here and I was talking about everything I do, I'm doing it big. When I came on here and said that, that was the day it went from my heart. You know what I mean? It went from my head to from my heart. It went from being from my head to from my heart. And then I understood press play and talk even more. Sometimes we don't know why we do what we do, why we got to do it, but he'll use everything around us to do it, to get it done. And it also allows you to see how many more people are in tune spiritually. You didn't lose anybody. Yeah, you didn't lose anybody. You created a space for humanity to go forth. You know what I mean? I think sometimes we get caught up in so much stuff we forget to be human, to feel, to love, to care. A lot of people just out here just no breaks, don't care. I want to get the kiki, I want to get the clap back, and I want to tear this person down. But I don't think people stop to breathe, to even think what's happening. Like I said, I'm all for the roast. I'm all for the giggles. I'm with it. But at some point, it's like we have to then remember it shouldn't hurt. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't hurt. It shouldn't display things that people wouldn't otherwise display. I don't feel like anybody's personal business should be put out just because you're trying to one up them. There's things about people we should never ever know. But here on YouTube, there's things about people that we know that I know we should never know. Ain't our business. But that's the way it's set up, I guess. I don't know. But God is the greatest doxer of them all. So his uncovering is way deeper than finding some paperwork. His uncovering is uncovering the stuff that you don't even know is there. You be thinking like, oh yeah, but I got a good heart. No, you don't. I don't think any of us safe saying I got a good heart because we just don't know what little things hide that we're not aware of. He knows our heart. That's why we have to allow him to clean it up. I don't be like, yeah, I said it, but God know my heart. Boy, that's the worst thing you could ever say. Like, yeah, he know. That's why he ain't surprised that you did that, because he know your heart. Your heart did that. How the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. I just always say that on here, but it's the truth. If it came out your mouth, it was in your heart. That's how you feel. You ever said something and you, as soon as it came out your mouth, like, God, and you thinking to yourself, like, I shouldn't have said that. I think that's conviction. I don't think it's that it wasn't in your heart. I think that people that do have a genuine or a level of a good heart, they get convicted. People that have a messed up heart don't feel no conviction, no remorse, no regret. They just go. They don't care who they hurt in their path, tear down. They don't care who see them, hear them, anything. That's an indication of a poor and sick heart. Those that can come back and apologize, or those that, that remember, wait a minute, my mom wouldn't like this. Those are people, I believe, that they got a good heart. They just get caught up. And then, call a spade a spade. Some people just evil as hell. That's just exactly what it is. It's just evil. But all people weren't born evil. We give evil legal access. A lot of people right now are dealing with evil things because they allow access by entertaining and joining forces with evil. You open the door. A lot of people, like when you drinking and stuff like that, and then that's an open door for real. If you ain't got the level of faith that, some people don't have that strong enough faith to even fight off things. They don't realize it feels good, but a lot of times when we be under the influence, that's when a lot of stuff sneak in. A lot of stuff sneak in. We wonder how somebody went from just little light roasting to just downright demonic. Like, kind of scary. I've been hitting that do not recommend button like a fool. I I don't. It's so funny because now people like, oh, it been turned up on these YouTube streets. I don't even. I be honestly, I be thinking like, ain't nothing going on. Like, ain't nobody live or nothing because I done made it where I don't see nobody really. Mm-hmm. Women be saying that, Gary. They don't want a family, but they love the Lord. Oh God. I think people just don't know love. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's because we try to make up this fuzzy ideal of it. We want to define it. We want, love is when we're together and he does this and he does that and I'll do this and I'll do that. I think that's those are actions that show love, but God is love. If you ain't got God, you ain't getting no love. I can like you a whole lot. I genuinely believe that. What we think be love sometimes that we be feeling or in, I don't think it be that because I be feeling like, okay, if God love us unconditionally, no matter what, even when he mad at us, he still loves us. He'll never leave us nor forsake us. If he loves us like that, how do we love somebody and then fall out of love? I don't I don't think we fall out of love people. I think we just love people in different levels in a sense. Our version of love. And while it's good sometimes it has to come to an end because it can turn unhealthy or whatever. So I think that a lot of us have love for people, but I don't think we have that love that, and I think that comes from probably jumping the gun. Like I'll tell my friend, like, sometimes we go ahead of plans and maybe get a husband. Be like, we don't get to say, well, I married the wrong man. Now that you did that, you got to present that thing to God and do what, do it the right way. That's how I look at it. If you really love somebody, then you fight like that because everything is a spiritual battle. If you're married and y'all having issues, you can't even look at your spouse and be like, she's doing this. You got to think it's something greater behind this, especially if you love somebody. There's no way this man is doing this if he loved me. There's a something else going on. Most women won't even pray for their husband. I've seen people say, I ain't praying for these people that da da da. I'm like, we're supposed to pray for everybody, even our enemies. So to even say that at your mouth, I think that makes God sad. If you call yourself his child, I don't think we get that option to say, I'm not praying for somebody. Now I believe that you'll get that thing and he'll be like, mm-mm. I do believe that, but I don't think we get to make that choice. But a lot of us do. And sometimes our breakthrough connected to that prayer we won't put out for the person we don't like or we ain't praying for. Steady looking for something to happen, something to turn around, something to shift is what they say. We looking for that shift, but the one thing connected to that shift is to pray for your enemy. And I think it's hard. You know what I mean? It is very hard, especially if somebody doing something crazy to you and they ain't gave you no kind of respect, ain't showed you no kind of love. You got to go in a whole different bag for that. A lot of people don't forgive. Man, it's gonna be a whole bunch of people that put people in hell, and they gonna get up there to the gates, and they see the person they thought was going to hell, and they gonna be moseying on along. Then they gonna go for him. They gonna be like, "Hey, wait a minute, what's that I see in there? That little unforgiveness you ain't get rid of, Gary." I thought I told you to get rid of that in 1994. Mm. So you walked up here with that unforgiveness in your heart. Okay. Hmm. What if we get up there and it be like that? You got 30 days. And you got to go on some kind of journey to find the people or find in your heart who you need to forgive and do that. I think that we have a God like that. I don't think we're going to get up there at that one time. He'd be like, you should have got it out of there. downward you go. I think he give us chance after chance after chance. Like that's how my brain be working, y'all. I would sit here and have this whole scenario. I'd be like, I used to listen to the Bible in my sleep, and it seemed like every time I woke up, like if I had to use the restroom or something, every time I would wake up in my sleep, it would be on God killing somebody, opening up the earth and fire, and I was just like, dang. And then I started thinking about it. If God is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore, why we out here thinking he won't take us out? He don't change. If he was killing people back then, why we think he won't take us out? I think it's one of them things, you know how our parents would be like, I bought you in this world, I'll take you out. Like this is where my mind goes. I think he don't. I think that for some of us, yeah, we will have that ultimate ending that ain't so favorable or we want it. But I think that for some people, because he loves us so much, I think he will take us before that happens. I think he'll take us before that happens. And I think we get warning after warning sometimes. And when people die, and you be like, oh, Lord, gone too soon. I think that sometimes those are the babies that he knew probably wasn't going to get it together. And he'd rather have them with him than, you know, to have to make that ultimate decision to let that child go. But that's just my man. I'm not God, so I can't say, but if I had to imagine, that's how I would imagine a father's love being, you know. Like if someone's child murdered somebody, I think for your child's safety, you wouldn't want to tell on them, but more than likely you have to. Or things gonna get worse, or you gonna be an accessory or something. I don't know why I just went that deep for no good reason. I told y'all I'll be thinking a lot. That's why I know my brain too clear. Cause when I got a clear mind, woo, whoo. I remember I went to church on an empty stomach one time, a couple times, matter of fact. But this one time, boy, I was like, I had like watermelon and like water all day long. I called myself gonna fast because the guest speaker, I know his church fasts on Tuesday, so I'm gonna fast on this day since he's gonna be a guest speaker here. Child, I promise. I was sitting in church. First of all, they had the whole front section roped off for the ministers. Everybody that's up there, they made them move. They did not make me move, me and my friend. So the whole time, it was like I was just. You ever been in a situation you feel like you're hearing the conversation of the room? My ears were so wide open, it was almost scary. It was like people was walking in, and according to their I'm gonna call them garments, because you know how some of these ministers be carrying their title just a bit too serious. As they came in, if she had on the big, it was like I knew every last one of them what they called themselves. I was like, oh, there's the prophetess with the big bow around her neck and the big flowery skirt. It's prophetess so and so. Oh, there's minister such and such with the ugly long dress and the coffee ground stockings and the white collar. Oh, there's apostle. He's crying for no reason, as if every word is for him. Oh, that's pastor such. Man, I was tripping in there. Then this one lady kept jumping up like everything the man said. She had just said it. Oh, girl. Oh. I'm like, girl. In my mind, I'm like, sit your tail down. I was like, boy, I ain't going to church on an empty stomach no more. I was looking around and I was just like, I could feel everybody's fear that the man was going to call him out. I could feel everything in that room. And then the next week I went to church in Atlanta and accidentally didn't eat because my food wasn't right. I was trying to eat before I went to church. The food wasn't right. And by the time I got to get my food, I had to go. Yes, that day I was fasting. The second time I was accidentally fasting. Well, I ain't gonna call it an accident. but I had got some food and it was nasty, so I went back to take it back, and I think I just got my money back because it was time, you know. And this time when I went though, it was a whole different experience. It was like everybody was worshiping. I had never like you ever go to a church and everybody is in a moment of praise and worship, and um the pastor just standing there kind of watching the clock. This was like the first place I went that if everybody laid out before God, the pastors was on the ground too. So that was always um amazing to me, you know. And on this particular day, it was just like the music was going. And I think I had told y'all this story before, and they were everybody was speaking in tongues, and then out of nowhere, all I know is came through my left ear, and it sounded like it was from the back, but it was loud, like it was a different kind of loud. It wasn't like somebody standing next to you yelling in your ear. It was like almost like thunder. I could hear it over the music, and the music didn't go low. This voice was loud. It was just like, I am the Lord thy God. I was sitting there like, it's like when it's almost one of them things when you know, you know. That's why I always be like, these churches be out here talking about, oh, the presence of the Lord is here. Mm-mm, mm-mm. We be having a happy good time, but when that presence is there, it's not. It's not a. You can't mistaken it for anything else. There's nothing that that comes close. It makes you know that everything else has been a crock of shat. People running up and down the thing, and and my friend be like, you can't tell what other people feeling. Mm-mm, mm-mm. When the spirit of God come in the room, you ain't even got a choice. It's gonna push you down. Like it's thick. You feel it. You know what I mean? Like, nah. Up until that point, I thought I had experienced some things. Like, yeah, the Lord showed up and showed out today. Mm-mm. And it don't happen often, but it happens. That's why I'm like, yeah, it's a reason why we chew up the meat and spit out the bone for sure. Definitely. I always say the spiritual things are wonderful when you allow God, not a star or a tree or whatever other things that people put into place, not the universe, not none of that stuff. The creator of all that stuff. When you allow that spirit, all those things are useful and needed, but they're not God. You know what I mean? Everything is useful to nature. It's like I recently just realized like why people would worship nature. It's a living thing too. It's amazing. But it's not for us to worship. If a tree will bow down to God, why would we worship a tree? Things that make you say, why, Sway? Yeah, man, but I guess that went somewhere. And I'm about to, even though I probably could keep going, I'm going to get out here. Because I always said I don't like driving in the fall and winter months in the dark. And here it is, pretty much dark. And I need to go out here at least to 9 o'clock because my days is getting short as far as getting up out of here. And I got to make sure all my ends are tied up. So duty calls. And I thank y'all for coming through and hanging out with me for a little while and chit chatting with me, chopping it up, listening to me and my thoughts. Yeah, sharing y'all thoughts and all that good stuff. Always a good time. Always a good time. Y'all know me. I'm going whether it's 121 or 81. I'm going to do that meat talk because I got to. I don't have a choice at this point. I can't stop if I wanted to. So I look forward to things to come. So we'll see, y'all. But other than that, I want everyone to, you can hit the Cash App. Ching, ching. I like to eat. And hit the like button, share, and subscribe. I'm trying to practice saying that because I never say it. Like, I have to remember, like, I'm building a channel, duh. Or rebuilding. Yeah. But thank y'all. Love you much. Talk to y'all later. Bye bye now. I need some theme music to go out on. Ding, 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 ding. No, I don't want that one. I'll think of something the next time. Bye.